Men helt ewig. Ja, I come from Germany. We don't move our mouths very much when we talk. There's no need to move your mouth a lot when you talk. In Germany. Hi, I'm Eric. I'm from Germany. I live in Berlin. And I was born in Bonn. Moved to Berlin when I was 46. That's where I live now with my wife, Schatzi, and my dog, Schnitzel. No, I'm not really German. I'm American. I'm from America land. That's a lot different than Germany. You know what I say about Germany. Germany schmermany. But that's neither here nor there. We're not here to talk about Germany. Germany today. We're not even here to talk about any European countries, although they may come up in conversation. Maybe Spain could come up, or Portugal, maybe Norway or Denmark, maybe Italy or Greece, maybe England or France, maybe Ukraine or Turkey, maybe Syria. Oh, yes, Kitty loves talking about Syria. It's her favorite conversation topic. Hi, Boba Fett. But we're not going to start there, are we? No. We're going to start where the title says to start. And where does the title say to start? It says, start at the beginning. The Ashtray Te Problem. Let's talk a little bit about the fundamental problem with ashtrays. I think it's an important topic. I think it's an under-discussed topic. I think we can all together build a better world if we pay a little bit more attention to our ashtray-related problems. Hi, Misty Joy. It's nice to see you as well. My cat also says hi. She's speaking in sign language, that's why you can't hear her. Yeah, my cat knows ASL. She's deaf. How else would she communicate if she didn't know ASL? Yeah. That's how she talks. Oh, yes. What a good kitty. Did I eat breakfast? Well, I had a piece of cheese and a candy bar. I'm not sure if that quite qualifies as breakfast, but throw in a couple of Adderalls and it does qualify as breakfast. So, yes, I've had breakfast. Did you have breakfast? Did you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner all in one convenient meal? Well, wouldn't it be convenient if we could just do that? We could just have breakfast, lunch, and dinner all combined into one convenient meal. A candy bar, a piece of cheese, and Adderalls. Yeah, that really is a breakfast champions right there. Oh, this kitty is loving the love so much. Yes. Oh, head push. Less food, less stress, walk and sleep. I don't find that less food means less stress for me. If anything, less food means more stress because then I'm hungry, maybe. And hunger is bad. There are some peoples of the world who believe in something called fasting. Those people are called fools. Yes, they are. Let's not lie to ourselves. Why would you purposefully not eat when you have food available? It's it's right up there with semen retention among the litany of history's terrible ideas. Do I like sugar? Well, I like it fine. I don't have a super sweet tooth, but sometimes I feel like eating some sugar. This morning it was mostly like what's convenient to eat, and what's convenient to eat are things. Well, the most convenient thing is a candy bar because I don't even need to use scissors to open that. The individually wrapped cheese snack things we I have to use scissors to open them. I mean, I think there is a tear thing on it, but I can never find it without my glasses. I just use scissors to open them. So let's get back to this important problem of ashtrays. What is the problem with ashtrays? Well, let's go outside and smoke a cigarette while we discuss it. Because the problem of ashtrays is one that, having reflected upon it for a long time now, I've concluded will never be solved. Because an ashtray needs to do too many things, and it can't do all of them concurrently. I'll explain what I mean when I go outside in a second. These are cigarettes. These are the things you smoke that will eventually find their way into the ashtray. So let's get a beverage. It's always a good idea to smoke with a beverage. In fact, I have a beverage in the garage. Let's just go in there and smoke. That's as good a place as any. But actually, let's start out front and now move to the garage. I can't move. Yeah, I could move to the garage that way. I don't have to go unlock this inside. All right, so let's look at this ashtray right here. It's a wine bottle. And after much consideration, I think that this is the best possible ashtray. Why? Tell us more, Eric. We're intrigued. Well, before, I had an empty kitty litter bucket over there with some water in the bottom of it. And I put my cigarettes in there, and water would put them out. Even though the kitty litter bucket was plastic, right? You have to put some water in the kitty litter thing because it's plastic, otherwise the cigarette's going to melt it. Okay, well, the problem is when you put water in it, even though you're putting cigarettes in it, and you think nothing would go near that water, it still manages somehow to attract little bugs. Thing number two, let's imagine you get an actual ashtray. Like, a ceramic ashtray, right? Well, that thing fills up so fast, you have to have, it only makes sense like at a casino where somebody comes around and empties your ashtray all the time. Every time it gets one cigarette in it, Hi, Hugh Jars. Right now, we're fine. We're talking about the important issue of ashtrays. So, you're not well, Don Kindness? I'm sorry to hear that. What's wrong? Tell us about it. We can put off this discussion of ashtrays until later if you'd like, while we listen to what's going on with you. Do you like these magical rays in front of my eyes? No, it's like I've got a sunlight mustache. I have a sunlight mustache. That might help a little bit, Hugh Jars, but since we don't know any of the specifics yet, maybe we don't have enough information yet to do a fully realized prayer on his behalf. So tell us, Don, what's going on? We want to know. In the meantime, while Don's typing, I'll tell you a little bit more about the ashtray conundrum. So, the issue is, of course, Dexedrine ruined your life, burned a memory into my mind I cannot forget. I don't think Dexedrine burns memories into your mind so much as traumatic experiences. Well, if it's a very horrible story of suffering, I mean, you were so tweaked out, you did stuff that you feel regretful about. I've had that happen myself. Although it wasn't like anything like rights violated or whatever, It was just like losing track of time. I cat down the road. Well, when people have manic and or psychotic episodes or any kind of fugue state, when they're in the middle of it, it probably, at least for some such time, well, remember, Don Kindness, that painful memories get less painful as you move further away from them. And you might have to come to terms with shit, do some mourning, etc. I last week or something mourned some shit I regretted from childhood. How's an ashtray like to eat? It's not like to eat. There's an ashtray to eat problem because there's a combination of things you want an ashtray to do. You want it to, some of the time, be a complete disposal unit for your cigarette that puts it out by itself. You want it some of the time to be able to like hold a half smoked cigarette butt. And you don't want to have to empty ashtrays all the time. So you don't want to use actual ashtrays, right? The best solution is this wine bottle. A wine bottle is the best solution because it puts out the cigarette by itself because of the narrowness of the neck. It suffocates it. But when it gets full, you can just throw it away, and it holds a lot more cigarettes than just a regular little ashtray, right? The only thing oh God, huge jars. That's so depressing. That really was your experience. I am terribly sorry you suffered from that abuse. If it wasn't, can you please be less depressing? Even if it was. Oh my God. Well, I started the live stream talking and feeling kind of cheerful, and then it's just misery and suffering from the peoples of the world. I'm sorry that bad things happen and suffering occurs. I wish it were otherwise. I'm suffering right now from a pimple on my face. Well, suffering's probably a little strong. I have a pimple on my face. I've been aloe veroing it a lot in order to hopefully get it in check. Because, aloe vera is an all-purpose skin whatever thing. Way back when I worked with LA County Office of Education at East San Gabriel Valley, PA, it was called. It's an on-site special ed school. Back when I worked there, I had for years this wart on one of my arms. I guess it was, I don't know, on either the left arm or the right forearm, just right on the top of it. Okay. And I kept going to the doctor, get it frozen off, and then it would just grow back, you know? Well, amphetamines have diminishing returns the longer you do them. I remember when I first did meth, it was like, oh my God, I've discovered the answer to everything. It's spelled just 4 little letters. It's a little 4-letter word. METH. Well, my initial enthusiasm was probably a little overblown. Maybe a lot overblown. I feel you, Don Carnes, because I have some of those feelings about the times back in the early 2000s when I was doing meth and having a lot of really good times with my good friend, and we were making a lot of shit, and you know, I felt really alive. When I listen to shit from back then, I think, man, I was having fun. The GE problem is we got too many damn thoughts. The GE problem is with ashtrays that we fundamentally want ashtrays to do 2 conflicting jobs. We want them to dispose of a cigarette and put it out at the same time. But we also want to be able to snub out a cigarette part way and save the other half for later. You have to sacrifice one of those. The thing to sacrifice is the snubbing it out and saving it for later. You can still do that, but you just don't use it in an ashtray to snub it out, and you just put it next to the wine bottle you use in an ashtray. It's the best possible solution. Empty wine bottles. Empty wine bottles are perfect for ashtrays, or Martinelli's bottles or whatever, the same kind of size. Hi, Courtney. I am doing well, and how are you doing? Nothing really rhymes with Courtney. Portney, Bortney, Schmortney. Nothing. Nothing. You know what else nothing rhymes with? Rachel. Nothing rhymes with Rachel. Except for like Rage Hell. Rage Hell sort of rhymes with Rachel. You know, K, chill, rhymes with Rachel, but those are 2 words. No, but then I have a bigger problem. I'm not smoking. Facial almost rhymes with racial. Yeah, well, facial rhymes with racial, though, not with Rachel. If there's some lady named Faye Hill, that rhymes with Rachel, kind of. Or Hull. Rachel's the furthest thing in the world from Ratchet. You did get in under the first hour. Congratulations. Well, I mean, of course, Hugh Jarvis, it depends on the individual. For some people, maybe smoking's bad. For others, maybe it's a preferable alternative to something worse. You know, you got to you've got to be a little bit more nuanced in your thinking, I guess. Well, I mean, I do have worse things to think about than smoking. I have drinking to think about. You know, one of the reasons why I smoke and smoke weed is because I quit alcohol almost 10 years ago. So people tend to compensate for some one addictions with others and stuff. You know. Well, meth would be a fine alternative, but it wouldn't be an alternative to smoking, right? It would be a different thing to smoke. Well, I did. I mean, there was a time when I was addicted to meth, and I don't do meth anymore. There was a time when I was drunk. I don't drink alcohol anymore. There was a time not long ago when I did a lot of mushrooms. I haven't done them in a long time. You know, that I would never have considered an addiction in any way, but you know. No, thank you, Hugh Jarvis. I'm not interested in your quote unquote solutions to problems I don't have. You know, the problems that you declare problems, but I don't declare problems. I mean, I get it. You're a huge ass, but could you try to be like a medium-sized ass instead? I just go straight to the solution in your group. The solution to ashtrays is empty wine bottles. They're your best option. There's no perfect option, okay? I don't feel like this is bad for your mental health to be looking at the comments. Well, you're right. It's not bad for my mental health to be looking at the comments. Sometimes idiots say things, but that doesn't faze me. You know, it's hard to faze me because no, I don't. We don't drink any alcohol at all. We have empty wine bottles that I saved from the wedding for the purpose of making into ashtrays, and then I periodically cook with wine. So if need be, I can open another wine bottle. But the thing is, uh, you can always also use Martinelli's bottles. They're fine. It's just the wine bottle shape that you need to have. I didn't need to have ever actually held wine in it. Yeah, we don't drink any alcohol, but I cook with it fairly often. Yes, I do. I seen one up your sleeve the other day. You seen one what? You seen you seen my hero shield up my sleeve? I do have the hero shield. Protects me from all different kinds of attacks. No, I don't want to have. No, I don't have any. I don't drink any alcohol. You might have seen me drinking a non-alcoholic beer. I do drink non-alcoholic beer, and it looks like regular beer. And if you look through the bottle, but it's not actually beer. And you might have seen in the background a bottle of Maker's Mark that I was cooking with the other day, but I don't drink any alcohol. We bought liquor for the wedding, so we have like a pretty stocked liquor cabinet. No, Courtney, I'm not lying. I haven't drank in almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years on the 26th of December. But we bought liquor for the wedding, obviously, which we had at our house. And so we've got a bunch of beer, real beer. I brought my dad's wine collection when he died with me. Okay, see you later, Courtney. I'm not lying at all. Um, so yeah, we have plenty of alcohol in the house, but we never drink any of it. I smoke weed instead. I can't handle my alcohol. That's the problem. I uh I never could really handle it, Right from the get go. I the first time I drank, I just got super drunk. So some of us are born with a need to do some sort of substances. No, Rachel doesn't drink at all either. I'm not lying to myself or you. I haven't drank in almost 10 years. Do you think any of your exes watch your streams? I doubt it. The thing is, Courtney, you and everybody else would be able to tell if I started drinking again. Be easy enough to tell. Rachel can drink and sometimes we'll have a sip of something, but no, basically she doesn't drink either. She always preferred marijuana over alcohol. And she had this experience in her life where basically her family and nah, it's not, I'm not worried about me drinking. After, at a certain point after I quit, maybe within a couple of years of quitting, I sort of had this realization that had genuinely I had genuinely made it a firm decision about the matter, and that's all that was ever required in the first place was a real firm decision to treat it as though I just couldn't get it no matter what. Like it was impossible for me to acquire. To treat it accordingly. So once I made that firm decision and sort of mourned its passing from my life in full, I wasn't worried about going back to it again. I mean, if I could get through my dad's suicide with a house full of alcohol, because my dad always had a lot of alcohol in the house, and not drink it, then I'm not going to drink it over something else. I'm not collecting alcohol though. We just bought it for the wedding, which was held here at our house. And the wedding was in July, and obviously we haven't drank any of it, so I occasionally will open like uh, a can of real beer to cook, say, bratwurst in, because I don't want to waste non-alcoholic beer, and I need some kind of liquid to cook it in. I don't like to use water. I did bring my dad's wine collection because I figured we'd give it to guests, or you know, we if I wasn't really thinking this far ahead then, but that we'd have it at the wedding, which we did. I mean, we didn't have it, but other people did. Yeah, I mean, alcohol is a great thing to cook with because it's a good deglazer. So if you've like cooked it down a little too much and it's just burning, starting to burn on the bottom of the pan, like little bits of grease or whatever, you just put a little alcohol in there, it deglazes it, and then it cooks off the alcohol, so you can still eat it fine. There's no alcohol in it. Eric, I'm suffering from early male pattern baldness. Do you have any advice? Yes. Never think about it again. So many people leaving, they don't believe you. No, everybody but me believes you, Courtney. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been talking about this for a long time. So, you know. And if not believing me because people leave, you would have been the first one gone. Uh, I don't understand your question. So many people leaving, they don't believe you. Well, I pointed out that if not believing me because people leave, then you would have left first. I'm only 20, I have a massive bald spot. Deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. Get a Sharpie, draw some hair on? I don't know. Who gives a fuck? Doesn't matter. I'm not so nasty to people, Courtney. I'm beginning to suspect you're not a real person, but rather what's known as a sock puppet account. NPC or an undercover person. Hi, Carlos Paiva. Nice to see you. So, anyway, I came on to this live stream today hopeful of having a pleasant, pleasant stream. Yeah, I don't. Courtney's not real. No real human being would would be saying the things she's saying like authentically in response to what I'm saying. There are no. I've not been nasty to anybody, so there's no reason for her to say I'm nasty to people. And for her to not believe that I quit drinking is ridiculous. It's got to be just trolling. Probably one of the same people who periodically and frequently comes back. One of the people I like to call us the spike monkeys, Well, whatever. It's like spike monkeys. One of the things they tend to be obsessed with is like trying to convince me they're a real person first, so that then when they reveal themselves, that I'm supposed to be like tricked by that or something. It doesn't trick me or anybody else. you know. You watched my phone conversation with Michael Smith yesterday. That's one way to put it. Big laughs. Hey. I found that whole incident and all of his aggression would just be unpleasant. Well, you jars, maybe it's karma. This was a while ago, Boba Fett, a long time ago. Carlos is saying he went back and watched it again. I don't even remember it. I do not even remember the conversation, the specifics of it. But I don't know. For what means so much as a teen, you know, everyone has their seasons. I wasn't like reproductively desirable until I was like practically 50 years old. So, quit complaining. Well, that one, obviously, Boba Fett is a little bit of a standout operation compared to some random stream like this one, you know? Well, thanks, you Jars. I don't think about my appearance much. I don't worry about it. I mean, obviously, I'd like to get my front teeth replaced by implants, but it's really as much for talking as it is for appearance. I don't like the way the missing teeth impact my elocution. Anyhow, I don't remember the specs of it, but you know, people come around. You never really know who they are, and with the exception of some long timers, you know, etc. Wow, WTF? What the fuck are you talking about, Courtney? My goodness. Well, I do value FE, but I get most of the kind of FE. I get paid a lot of FE currency of the sort that I prefer just here on YouTube, regardless of it. You know, it's like um, I've also adjusted things in little ways to minimize the amount of time it impacts my appearance while I'm on camera. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, people around here obviously aren't choosing a YouTube channel based on the appearance of the host, since even with all my teeth, I'm often a disheveled looking, you know, whatever. Well, Courtney, looks can be deceiving because I actually have a very nice home. Yeah, I know. Courtney's chomping at the bit to, she just can't maintain the fiction any longer. Well, you sound just like a regular Fight Monkey. Karma's path. I tell you what, Courtney. Not only would I rather look like a homeless person than be you, I'd probably rather be a homeless person than be you. I get probably that, like, the schools made you toxic about your lack of intellect, but you're taking it on the wrong guy. I'm not whoever hurt you one time with their TI. Hi, squirrel. I don't have my cigarettes with me. Courtney was saying she wanted me to smoke a cigarette, which I appreciated. I appreciated the reminder. She's a really helpful community member. I must say, things are a lot better now that I don't have other ridiculous shit going on. You look like Smackhead. Nuance. Hi, Tom, right? Did I pray today? No. All right, Courtney. Or whomever you are. Michael Smith, whatever. Goodbye. Thank you, Karma's Pimp. I appreciate it. Well, the nice thing about being me is nobody can come up with any evidence of me doing anything bad of that sort or other sorts because I don't do those sorts of things. And I'm extremely transparent in my life. I've got a lovely adult daughter, lovely wife, a long successful history of working with young people as a debate coach. You know, things like that. And, well, I mean, like I said, the thing about, I don't know if it's how many different parties it comprises, right? But there's a certain kind of attack that at least one or some of the spy monkeys make, and it's just what makes it notable is how consistently dumb it is. You know, it's not like anybody even attempting to be clever in their whatever, you know. Talking about transparency, you've been thinking about your full transparency presidential campaign. I haven't been thinking about it because I know it's not going to be for 2024, so I mean, it's not true that I've not been thinking about it completely. I've been thinking about, like, in vague terms, how to ramp up for that, what that's going to look like. Like, I know I have to get my teeth fixed before I do that, you know. I was actually thinking about minor particulars, like I'll have to get some suits. Get a couple of suits to wear, you know. Huge arse. You really are a huge arse. It should be tough for them to fit in, obviously. Yeah, well, I'm in no state of readiness to do that right now. Like, you know, I lived this whole life. I lived a couple of different lives before I started YouTubing. Um, I had a wife, my first wife. I had a kid with her, and like as soon as we got married, right after we got married, she was pregnant. Um, uh, then that whole thing fell apart, because she cheated on me. And then I got a second wife who I had a life with, raising Delilah. And that was fine ish. But for a certain portion of that time, I was kind of a drunk, or even a full blast drunk. Some parts of my time were more restrained than others a little bit. And it got worse over the years. Trump just filed some papers. Good for him. um, so, it's the point is, okay, I had these lives, then I had that horrible relationship with Kimberly. I went straight into this relationship, which was great and life saving, really. But but it coincided with a difficult time at my parents' house, where we there wasn't enough space for us. I didn't have it wasn't you know from any objective perspective, it wasn't the right time for it, but it was what needed to happen for both me and Rachel to set us up for the rest of our life together. Anyhow, the point is, then my dad killed himself, my mom died, and we moved to Mariposa in January of last year, and we encountered all kinds of problems in the moving in part because of the big snows, and it was pretty rough way to be introduced to Mariposa, right? Then after that, we started getting ready for the wedding. And that was, even when we weren't doing anything about it, we were thinking about it. It was stressing us out and or whatever. We'll get to that in a second, but and so after the wedding, Corey was here for like a week, and that was a really like drugged out time. um, but then he left, and it was kind of a long recovery period from that. So I really feel like it's only very recently that I've had a chance to really begin processing everything that happened before we moved here, before really like, when life's throwing a lot of shit at you in the sense that you're not empowered and you're you're required, it's like it just wasn't a good situation those last couple of years before my dad died, for sure. And even before that, obviously, with Kimberly, it was a terrible situation. Before that, things were pretty good for a stretch, I guess, with autonomy when it was running, but there was its own kind of dark time as um, I was living alone. Delilah had moved to Candace's, I think. She was like 18 at that point, going to school over there, you know. But the point is, life has beaten a lot of the joy out of me. And I don't like that. Um, I want to recapture my joy that I would normally, or I could remember myself taking in the olden days, just like getting up in the morning and taking a walk around the block or something, or just feeling good about stuff. It's not like I don't feel good now. It's just I'd like to I'd like it I'd like to find it easier to take pleasure in everyday things, you know? I'd like to lose the sort of constant, faint, looming dread. I'd like to return spiritually somewhat to my youth, be less weathered, less weary. No, we don't need any. I don't need any of those things. That's the thing. That's what my current situation is teaching me is there's no there's no straightforward solution. I like to play the same as I've always liked to play. When I'm like fully healthy and fully functioning self. I'm sorry to hear that, you Jarvis. Yeah, Joy was a big slut. Um, Fortunately, I hit that shit early on, so I'm fine. Uh, Cat down the road, I'm glad to hear that it resonates with you. I feel kind of glad to remember because when I was in the throes of things getting worse over years, it seemed like, or never quite getting good. Always, even when they were good, being difficult as fuck, just like everything being hard. But I remember, I guess, in my 20s, my after college, but maybe, and before I got married, sometimes maybe after that too, but they're always complicated. A lot of my memories are complicated by by either being drunk or on amphetamines or something. Uh, I go back to actually the memory I reference is a memory from when I was house sitting in South Pasadena. So I don't know how old I was. I had to be college age. But I recall thinking like how great it would be to have a nice house like that where you can get up and do what you want. I'd smoke bowls and read the newspaper, and I really enjoyed it. And take her dog for a walk. And I would just be like, what a wonderful day. I think back to even before that, like, or certain times back in the Temple City house where I remember this one time I dug little little canals for water. Yeah, I was basically playing, make a little water feature in my backyard with the hose. I don't know, it just seemed fun to me, just playing in the dirt with a hose like a little kid. But it's like I like doing stuff like that. There's something pleasant about. Oh, hi, it's Narmi. Narmi's here. Let's take a look at Narmi from afar. He's on the ground this time instead of on the wall. There he is. There's little Narmi. Little Narmi is known as the Narmiest of all the squirrels. And an adorable little guy. That's why they call him Little Narmi. Hi, little Narmi. Yeah, it's Narmington. His full name is Narmi Narmington III. Somebody made a noise down the street and scared him away. Well, that's fine. Why did I come outside? Probably for some reason. It's very lovely out here right now in the autumn. You know, like, let me turn the camera around actually. You know, we got these nice maple trees that are changing color back there. And then they are like down there across the gully. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you see them. They look very nice. It doesn't look as nice on camera as it does in person. But it is very pleasant. It was very cold this morning, too. When I first went outside, the temperature on the computer said 37 degrees. When the sun came up, it got to 41 degrees. I don't know what it is now. But I knew it was cold because I heard the heater kicking on really often last night, which the house is pretty well insulated, so it had to be pretty cold outside. But it does remind me I need to redo a little bit of weather stripping that my cats destroyed. Yes, that's right, weather stripping. Never dreamed I'd talk about as much as I talk about now. Weather stripping. You might say to yourself, I'm not somebody who's ever going to talk about or think about weather stripping. Oh, you might be someone who does think and talk a lot about weather stripping. Look what the cats have done to my weather stripping. But this is not even the worst case of it at all. Look at that. Look what those damn cats did to this weather stripping. At this point, it's not just weather stripping, it's straight up weather prostitution. You know? So I've got to deal with that. I got to fix that weather stripping. It's on the front door too. Because before I put in cat doors, before I put in cat doors, the cats had to scratch at the door. Capio did anyway. Trouble meows. He's civilized. He talks to us. But Capio, she's a little bit less civilized. So what's on tap for today? Well, we do need to go into town. We need to get Rachel's medicine. Step 2. we need to order flowers for Rachel's grandmother's funeral. Step 3. Something else we gotta do. What do I do else besides that? We have to go to town to get her medicine. We have to order flowers for her grandmother. And we have to get weather stripping. Don't forget the weather stripping, Eric. We need to get weather stripping. Because that's right. You and I both, probably, together, if you're here then, will enjoy a fine weather stripping project together. I already said together, so that was an unnecessary extra together. I'm sorry you had to endure that together. You know what I kind of want to see if I can make work is the telescope. The telescope that has an attachment on it for the phone. I could put it here, and we could look at the top of the tree over there. We can't see it now, but you're saying, can we look at that tree? No, that tree's not gonna work. It's too close. We could look at this tree right there in front of us, the big tall one in the middle, through a telescope. All right, let's see if we can get this to work. This is an ambitious thing to do while live streaming, but nevertheless, we're going to give it a shot. Okay, so this is the thing that is the attachment for it. This goes in here as permeate. And then, I'm not really sure how, but I see, it's right there. It's this. There we go. And then, what we need to do is, it's not locked in place anymore? Okay. There. That should be fine. Okay. Now what we're going to do is get this phone as permeate. And then we'll put it like meow. Oops. And I have to tilt it a little bit. That's fine. A little tilting never hurt anybody. Okay, so just gotta get it lined up properly. What are we looking at here? helps at all. What is that? What is that thing? Let me see if this does any good. No? It's supposed to go like this, isn't it? It has to be supposed to go like this. No other way for it to go. Well, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be working. I don't know what to make of that reality. It seems like it's in the right spot, right? I don't know. Maybe if I try it with the other camera, it'll work better. Because the other camera only has one lens on it. Let's try that. Give it a shot. Let's try it. Let's see what we see. It seems like it's the same problem. Doesn't it seem like this is the same problem? Wow, I can see it so well in the telescope. I wonder why they can't get it with the phone. Let me try it without this holder for a second. Let me try to put it. Let me try to put it this way, I guess. I'm curious if I can get this to work, because if I can't get this to work, then there really wasn't any reason for me to get a telescope at all. Because I wanted to film stuff with it. It said it did that. Okay. Can't see anything through this with the phone, even though you can see it great with your eye. It's weird. How could it not work? It's weird. I look through there. I can see like the branch in such incredible detail. It's crazy. But it's like a pen view. So I don't know how to make it show you what I can see. Yeah, this lens is crazy. Let me see which tree I'm looking at. I want to get to that tree over there. Looks like I'm a little high up. Try downing it a little bit. I guess I have to go down more. There we go. Now I got it. Okay. This thing doesn't work very well. I don't know how to make this thing work. Oh wait, this pulls out some. You supposed to pull that out? Is that what it is? Or not? This thing is hard to figure out. Alright, you're coming out. You're coming with me, Mr. Man. Unless you're supposed to go like this. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit that way. Huh. Well, you know, what can you say? That's life in the big city. Sometimes you can't get the thing to work. This is one of those times. It must only work at night when there's no light in between it, huh? That's what it is. This won't work during the day. At least I figured out what the problem was. That's kind of nice. It's kind of reassuring. Because now I see that the light pollution makes this thing not work. This only works at night. So that's fine. I won't try to film telescope stuff during the day. It's more beneficial to eat probiotic or pre-probiotic foods rather than the pills. Well, I don't know about biotic, but most of my food is bionic, like the Bionic Man. And the rest of my food, even if it's not bionic, is biological. Well, that's pretty good. That's better than death. I didn't have it flat, but that's fine. I'll go put it away now. Come on, Mr. Telescope. How do you... Oh, boo, Eric, boo. Boo, Eric, boo, boo, Eric. All right, Mr. Telescope, you're coming with me. And that's the end of our adventure with the telescope. I folded my phone. Does all good go through a process? Well, I mean, one appeals to the good as something static, but obviously, no understanding of good precedes human attention. I mean, there are plenty of artifacts of human attention that say divinity precedes human attention, but that's not the same thing as there being an understanding and manifestation of good absent human attention. Human attention is always, to some extent at least, a process, although knowledge is, a given instance of knowledge might be said to be instantaneous. You use your telescope whenever you go for a pee because he likes to look at large celestial objects while he pees. Yeah. You might think that, oh, maybe he's implying, well, it's the opposite of a microscope. So I'm saying my penis is very big. But really, while he might be saying his penis is very big, he would also be saying it's very far away from his body. So, because his penis is too far away from his body. Anaha Serpina. I don't speak Russian. I do recognize the Cyrillic alphabet, though. So, I speak a little Russian. Здравствуй, Vladimir. I can say Здравствуй, Vladimir. I can say Vladimir. I can say Stolichnaya. Drank plenty of Stolichnaya on my day. Oh, you can translate Cyrillic into regular? What do they call regular? It's not Cyrillic. You just call it regular. I think it's a good name for it. You should call regular, and Cyrillic irregular. Please don't boil me alive, don't boil me alive. I'm not even 5 times ready enough for that. Don't boil me alive. Romanticized? I'm not romanticizing my alphabet. Oh, wait. Romanized. No, I don't have any Jewish heritage, and if I did, why would that worry you? Is it because you are a huge ass? Not that I know of. I'm German all the way back, as far as I can trace it. But I could do a 23andMe and see if I qualify for a group you hate. Would you like me to do a 23andMe so I can find out if I'm a member of a group you hate? Oh God, this has been a rather horribly just it's like going to Oakland today in the live stream. Well, hopefully we're not huge Earth. Because I don't want to be related to a huge ass. Obviously. All right, I'm going to take off now. See y'all later. Thanks for being here.